Linus Tech Tips coverage of Computex 2013 is powered by Western Digital. Our trusted gaming gear partner is Corsair Vengeance, and our trusted retail partner is NCIX.com.
Welcome to the NZXT suite, where we've got a few new products on display. So number one is their Hale 82 V2 series power supplies. These are aiming to bring fully modular power supplies down to affordable price points. So this right here is a 550 watt power supply. It's 80 plus bronze. It has a 135 millimeter cooling fan and is, of course, if they hadn't managed to make it fully modular, then they wouldn't have achieved their goal. So the idea here is just that. If you want cable management and you don't need a huge high wattage power supply and you're okay with 80 plus bronze, then you can save a few bucks and get a Hale 82 V2. There's also another version of it, the V2S, which is a 750 watt power supply that'll only be available in 220/230 volt, whichever the voltage is, countries. So not in my country, so let's move on. This right here is the Phantom 530. This is the first time the Phantom has been redone since, it hasn't been that long since they've done a new Phantom, but this is the first time they've done what is essentially a redesign of the original Phantom. So what have they changed here? Number one is you might notice that the window is bigger. Personally, I think this is great because when you're going to buy a flashy pants case, you might as well show off the flashy pants hardware that you've got inside it. Number two is the fact that they have added a mechanism that allows you to spin the case around with one hand. Oh, wait, no, it doesn't come with this, right? Oh. Sorry, okay, it does not come with the Lazy Susan underneath. No, but they've widened the chassis a little bit. So this has done a couple of things. It allows them to mount a 140 millimeter fan in the back instead of just a 120. They've still got that height adjustable thing that they do, as well as here in the front, you can do a 200 millimeter cooling fan down here, or you can actually mount some radiators instead. So let's go ahead and get this bad boy open after we show you the single channel 30 watt fan controller. So let's go ahead and open this up. Don't worry, the real one will, hold on. This is hard to do with one hand, you guys. There we go. All right, so inside, there we go. So you can do either single 200 millimeter or dual 140 millimeter or a dual 120 millimeter radiator. Up in the top, you've got full support for a dual 140 millimeter radiator. So that means the Kraken X60 is going to fit in here no problem. You've also got support for a single 360 millimeter radiator if you want to do custom liquid cooling. So you can actually fill this thing up with an unbelievable amount of radiators, which is even better than the original Phantom. I guess if you're going to redo something, you might as well do it better. You've got metal latches for the 5 1/4 inch bays. Personally, this gives me some confidence, but I'm still going to opt to use the, yes, they're there, optional screw-ins for those, just because you don't want them flying around during shipping. You've also got 3+2+1 hard drive cages that are also compatible with SSDs. What I like about these is the fact that they're modular. These are some of these, we're seeing some features here that have been on higher end and newer NZXT cases for a while now. But remember, guys, the Phantom was their first fully custom designed by NZXT case. So there have been some innovations since then. It was probably time to do this. So you can move these around, stack them however you want, and let's move around to the back. On the back, we see this. This is actually one of my favorite things that they've started to do, this built-in fan hub. So instead of having to worry about like, I'm going to plug it in there and there and there and there, one switch on the top of the case changes all your fans, 12 volt, 7 volt, 5 volt. You plug all your fans into one place that's nice and hidden, so you can bring it back here. They've got like, I don't know what it is, like 100 billion little cable loop ties on the back here so that you can route all your cables and keep them away from that large window that's going to make your system look sexy. Now let's go over here where you can actually see that there are more colors of the Phantom 530. This is white. So there's white, black, and red at the start, and they've got a prototype product in here that is kind of ridiculous. So liquid cooling on graphics cards. We've been seeing this for years. I remember Sapphire did like a toxic like 5870 or something with an Asetek liquid cooler. It was a total disaster because compatibility was a nightmare. So what NZXT's done is they've gone and made it universal. So with just this bracket, which you get for what, like 19 bucks or something stupid like that? 15 bucks. These are dual Titans that are running this NZXT bracket. They're compatible with any Asetek liquid cooler. So this is just a Kraken X60 running through the little bracket here, and then it mounts a 92 millimeter fan that cools the card. So they've got dual Titans running in here with a solution that costs between this cooler and this bracket less than 100 bucks, which is definitely less than a liquid cooling water block. I mean, and sort of the flip side of that is, Linus, well, it also doesn't cool the whole card like a liquid cooling water block, and you blah, blah, blah. It doesn't improve performance liquid cooling that much. Actually wrong, because with something like a GTX Titan with GPU Boost 2.0, keeping the card cooler actually makes it run faster, and the most important part to make it run cooler is the GPU core itself. So this is an incredibly smart way to address that particular problem. And I guess since we're here, we might as well show you the black version where they've got some custom liquid cooling running in here. I'm just going to go ahead and flip this around, let my camera go check this out. So there's a 240 millimeter liquid cooler there, 360 millimeter up here, and then a couple of sort of more traditional full cover GPU water blocks, which leads us finally to a very awkward change in position between me and my camera, and everyone in the suite's like running around to get out of my way here. This is the H230. It is available in black or white, and it is generally very similar to the H2, a quiet optimized case. So you've got noise dampened panels in here. You've got a removable cage right here. All the drives are actually mounted from reverse. So you've got 6 2.5 or 3.5 inch drives, full ATX motherboard support, and I personally really like the bezel design. I think it looks really clean, and I mean, I guess that's all there really is to say about it. Looks clean. Very nice. And I think that pretty much wraps it up. Guys, don't miss any of our Computex 2013 coverage. We are sponsored here at the show by Western Digital, as well as Corsair Vengeance Gaming Peripherals, and of course, NCIX.com. Don't forget to subscribe to Linus Tech Tips for more unboxings, reviews, and other computer videos. Evidently, I was wrong. That is an X40, not an X60. Clearly, you cannot fit a 280 millimeter liquid cooler in the front of the case sideways. If you could, we'd be looking at like a cube case, and this is clearly not one of those. Also, I made a bit of a mistake. So NZXT's point was not that with an X40 and this bracket you could get it for under $100, because that would cost a little more than $100, but it's compatible with other Asetek OEM liquid coolers, even from the likes of Corsair, such as the H50. So if you grabbed an H50, paired it up with the NZXT bracket, then you could liquid cool your graphics card for under $100.